Can you read me that picture book Mom bought today?
Me? You want me to read?
Please, Grandma.
Oh, well, all right.
Once upon a time, there was a man named Brad Pratt who lived alone in a house in which he took great pride. He maintained things just so. He liked this, but not that. All defects must go. He mowed his lawn in perfectly straight lines, perpendicular to the house and parallel to the sidewalk. Brad's sharp eye tracked every nook and cranny of his space. See a paint chip or bit of cracked caulk? One must jump to attention, scrape and sand, paint, or replace. His neighbors to the west and neighbors north had standards that were almost as good. Nothing that he would ever think to complain about in the state of their yards. But the neighbors to the east, they were another story. You name it, they did it. What they called their garden included sunflowers long past bloom that were now picked at by critters. Split seeds littered their lawn amongst the scatter of bird droppings left for stepping in. These neighbors didn't discipline their children to clean up toys left outside, and a chair blown over in the wind last season had never been picked up. A cup hung, stuck in the shrubs near their east fence, and more were jammed into the branches of a stubby pine beside a hammock. But speak of that hammock, it bothered Brad the most. Stretched at odd angles to both the fence and to the sidewalk, this scoffing at convention spoke volumes about these people to the east. Rather than order, these people worshipped chaos. Such hedonists, Brad thought. Their parties included people of every imaginable religion, race, or even manufactured gender. Their sense of heritage or personal identity seemed to have flown out the window.
I'd like to throw a tomato at that guy.
Well, if you look hard enough to find something to be upset about, you'll always find it, even if there's nothing really there.
Well, one day, while Brad was departing on his jaunt to the park, the little girl next door to the east tugged on her mom's sleeve, pointed at him, and said, "Mommy, who's that?" To which the mom said, "Our neighbor, Brad Pratt." "Bad Brat?" "Oh, no, dear," the mom said. "I didn't say that. Not a bad man. Let's pray. And hopefully not a brat." These words stung, and Brad stiffened his chin. How could anyone doubt there was anything but good within? Hadn't they seen his tidy home and the flag at his door? To question his ethics was a crime he abhorred. Brad's anger flamed, his emotions in a tailspin. Dashing past city streets, arms and legs pumping, he zipped into the park and down the trail within. He'd go faster than yesterday. Yes, that's what he'd do. Master each ache away and dispel every weakness too. But just then, intruding on his solitude, a man approached on the path, coming the other way. His long hair was thick, seemingly having never been combed. And though stout as a lumberjack, he swung his hips like a girl, while his arms danced in the air like he were conducting the world. "Stop!" Brad commanded. He had reached his limit. First the neighbors and their insult, and now this bozo on his path. Well, the man did stop, and he held out his hand, clueless that it was useless to reach out to a man of his class. Yet somehow, Brad's diss did not bother the man.
Why is the Brat upset about Dad looking different from him?
Hold on a second. Am I in that book?
You're so funny.
I mean, those two look like they could be twins.
Do you want to talk, or do you want to hear the story?
Story.
Okay, so where was I now? Yet somehow, Brad's diss did not bother the man. He just winked and grinned and then offered advice on the snow and the wind. He told Brad to breathe in nature, love both the squirrel and its nut, to soak in snow flurries, rivers, ice flows, does, and bucks. If your senses sense it, even tweets, grunts, and clucks. Well, as quickly as the man had stopped, he now whistled on his way, and although Brad tried to hate him, his feelings felt swayed. As the man shrunk to nothing and then disappeared behind a white bluff, Brad stood in wonder. What if his hate for strange people, their ways and their stuff, had these many long years been just a little bit too tough?
Thanks, Grandma. Yeah, thanks. Are you awake, Uncle Leonard?
I wasn't until you came along.
Abby says I missed a really cool story last night.
If you hadn't gone to that sleepover, you'd heard it too.
She says it's a short story.
Okay, you pour me a cup of coffee and I'll be right down.